ရက်ကိုအရင်ခံပြီးတော့အထာဂတဖွင့်ဆိုချက်နဲ့လက်တွေ့နဲ့ပေါင်းစပ်ပြီးဖြည့်ရှင်းပြဖို့ရမနေ့ကဂတိပြုခဲ့ပါတယ်။ဒါမှမဟုတ်အကြောင်းအားလျော်စွာဒီနေ့အခြားတရားလေးထည့်သွင်းပြီးတော့ပြောလိုပါတယ်
At the end of yesterday's talk, the Sayadaw promised that he would deal with one particular subject. He would rather elaborate on some of the points that were brought up yesterday in accordance with the commentaries. However, today, Sayadaw would like to deal with another subject first.
အဲ့ဒီဟာတော့အခြားမဟုတ်ပါဘူးစုပါစိတဆိုတာပါစုပါစိတကောင်းသောစကားကောင်းသောစကားဆိုတာဘာလဲဆိုတာပေါ့လေဒီခေါင်းစဉ်နဲ့အဲ့ဆိုပြီးတော့ဘုံမင်းရဲ့မူတည်ပြီးတော့ရှင်းလင်းပြီးတော့ပြပါမယ်
The topic of tonight's talk is Subhasita in Pali, which can perhaps be translated as good words.
Kaundo zaga sara dusayai wasi dusayai a pit body. Wasi dusayai ma pit fen a pit kende zaga go super sita vacha lo khaware.
Speech that is free from blame, which is free from the faults that can be found in bad behavior with regard to speech, unwholesome speech. That is good speech.
အဲ့ဒီစုပါစိတဝါကြအရာမှာစကားအရာပေါ့လေစုပါစိတဝါကြခေါ်တဲ့စကားစုမှာစုပါစိတဝါကြအရာအင်္ဂါ၄ပါးလို့ဆိုရရှိခဲ့ပါတယ်အင်္ဂါ၄ပါးနဲ့အစိတ်ပိုင်း၄ပါးနဲ့ပြည့်စုံလို့ရှိရင်စုပါစိတဝါကြဖြစ်ပါတယ်
It is said that there are 4 factors, 4 criteria for deciding whether speech is wholesome, is good or not.
Yasabya Gurai le Sayuda Nike Ngagu Miao Asagadawaga Sayu Ngagu Miao Subasita Thotan Sarawani Tija Hotavare.
In fact, the Buddha gave a discourse called the Subhasita Sutta, or the Sutra on Good Speech, in the Samyutta Nikaya.
Hotavangado Chitui Bekawe Angehi Samanagata Vacha Subasita Hoti Bikuro Ingalea ne Piezone Sakaha Eri Ingalea ne Piezon Jinjao Kaundo Zaka Piete
Sayadaw just recited the Pali, which can perhaps be translated. Because there are 4 factors, 4 criteria for judging whether speech is wholesome or not.
ကောင်းသောစကားဆိုတော့သူနဲ့ဆန့်ကျင်မဲ့အပြစ်တွေနဲ့ရှင်ပြီးတော့ကြည့်မှကောင်းသောစကားရဲ့တယုတ်ကပေါ်မှာပါဘယ်လိုဟာတော့ကောင်းသောစကားဆိုတာနောဒုပ္ပစိတာတဲ့မကောင်းပြောတာမဟုတ်ဘူးတဲ့ပြီးတော့အနဝိဇ္ဇာကြတဲ့အပြစ်လဲကင်းတယ်တဲ့ရာဂဒေါသမောဟစတဲ့ကိလေသာတွေအပြစ်လဲကင်းတယ်အနနုဝေကြကြဝိညုနာပညာရှိသူတော်ကောင်းတွေမစွတ်ဆွဲဘူးတဲ့အပြစ်မတင်ဘူးတဲ့အဲ့ဒီလိုစကားမျိုးပါပဲတဲ့သုဘစိတဆိုတာ
နေခုတုံးခု
ဘုန်းကနာသုဘစိတကိုဝိသေသနာပုဒ်တွေပါပဲနောက်မှတစ်ခုချင်းရှင်းပြမယ်သုဘစိတရဲ့ဆန့်ကျင်မဲ့စကားလေးပြော
ဆန့်ကျင်စကားဆိုတာသုဘစိတ
သုဘစိတမဟုတ်ဘူးအနဝိဇ္ဇပြစ်ကင်းတယ်ဒါပညာရှိသူတော်ကောင်းတွေအပြစ်မတင်ဘူး
What is good speech? There is a trail of 3 adjectives which describe good speech as that which is not bad speech, as that which is free from faults, and that which is free from blame by the wise.
Ida bhikkhave bhikkhu subhasita yeva bhasati no dubhasita ပထမအင်္ဂါ 4 ချက်ထဲကပထမအချက်ပေါ့ဘိက္ခုတို့ဤသာသနာတော်ကဘိက္ခုအမိကံပုဂ္ဂိုလ်ဟာတကယ်ယဟန်ပဲဖြစ်ဖြစ်ယောဂီပဲဖြစ်ဖြစ်ပေါ့လေဒီသာသနာတော်မှာမြတ်စွာဘုရားဆုဆုံးမတဲ့အတိုင်းကျင့်သုံးနေတဲ့ပုဂ္ဂိုလ်ပေါ့သုဘစိတမေဝဘာစတိတဲ့ကောင်းတဲ့စကားကိုသာပြောတယ်တဲ့နောဒုပ္ပစိတမကောင်းတဲ့စကားမပြော
The first criterion was stated by the Buddha as because a person who practices according to my teaching does not speak what is bad, but speaks only what is wholesome, what is good.
Dhamma meva bhasati no adhamma တရားသောစကားကိုသာပြောစေပြောတယ်မတရားသောစကားကိုမပြောတဲ့ဒါဒုတိယအင်္ဂါပါ
Such a person who practices according to my teaching speaks only that which is dhammic. He does not speak that which is undhammic.
ပိယယေဝဘာစတိနောအပိယချစ်ဖွယ်တာယာနာပြောဝဲစကားကိုသာပြောတယ်မုန်းစရာစကားမပြောပါဘူး
He speaks only pleasant words, words that will bring about love. He does not speak unpleasant words.
စัจ jaya ယောဘာစတိနောစัจ jaya ယောဘာစတိနောအလိကံမှန်တဲ့စကားကိုသာပြောတယ်တဲ့ချွတ်ရွဲ့တဲ့စကားမပြောပါဘူးတဲ့
The fourth criterion is that he speaks only that which is truthful. He does not speak that which is false.
ဘိက္ခုတို့ယခုပြောခဲ့တဲ့အင်္ဂါ၄ရပ်နဲ့ပြည့်စုံတဲ့စကားဒါစုပါစိတဖြစ်ပြီစုပါစိတဆိုရင်ဒုပ္ပစိတမဟုတ်အနဝဇ္ဇအပြည့်ကင်းပြီပညာရှိသူတော်ကောင်းတွေအကဲ့ရကလွတ်ပြီတဲ့
So a bhikkhu or a person who practices according to my teaching will understand that this is good speech, speech that is free from speech that is not bad, speech that is free from fault, speech that is free from the blame of the wise.
Supasita vacha kaunno saka ingataya Dhamma taya do saka dutiya ingaya Piya chipwe saka tatiya inga Satya ahman saka Deva bhave.
So these are the four criteria of good speech. Intrinsically, it is good speech. Secondly, it is speech that is concerned with speech that is dhammic, not undhammic. Speech that speech that is pleasant and which is truthful and not a falsehood.
That's what Satya.
Yeah.
အဲ့ဒါဒီတစ်ခုချင်းရှင်းပြပါမယ်စုပါစိတဆိုတာပါစုပါစိတဘာချဆိုတာပါဓမ္မဆိုတာပါပိယဆိုတာပါစัจ जा ဆိုတာပါပေါ့လေအဲ့ဒီလေးမျိုးတွေကသူအချင်းချင်းမတက်အောင်လို့ရန်တိုက်ပေးတဲ့ပိစုနာဘာချဆိုတာအလုံးပြိတ္တနားလည်ကြပါတယ်ခွန်ကြီးလည်းပဲဟောခဲ့ပါတယ်အဲ့ဒီလိုပိစုနာဘာချမျိုးမပြောဆိုပဲနဲ့ကွဲပြားနေတဲ့အချင်းချင်းစိတ်ဝမ်းကွဲနေတဲ့ပုဂ္ဂိုလ်များကိုညီညွတ်အောင်ပေါ့လေညီညွတ်သူများလည်းပဲပိုမိုပြီးတော့ညီညွတ်သွားအောင်ပြောဆိုစိတ်ဆက်ပြီးတဲ့စကားကိုကျင့်ငံများကစုပါစိတဒီလိုဆိုပါတယ်
The first criterion can perhaps be is in fact explained by the commentaries as speech that does not contain any instigation that will cause disharmony or disunity amongst people. Rather, it is speech that will bring about unity, that will promote harmony and fellowship among others.
Yes, I've heard အဲ့ဒီလိုစကားမျိုးအမြဲတမ်းပြောနေရှိပါတယ်မြတ်စွာဘုရားရဲ့စကားကိုတကယ်လိုက်နာတဲ့ပုဂ္ဂိုလ်တွေလည်းပဲဒီအတိုင်းပါပဲသုဘစိတဝါချဖြစ်ပါတယ်ပိသုနာဝါချရှောင်ရှားပြီးတော့ကောင်းတဲ့စကားတွေဆိုရတယ်
The Buddha himself is attributed to speak only such words of harmony, such good speech that is free from any instigation to cause disharmony. He speaks only speech that promotes fellowship and unity. So too does a good disciple of the Buddha. he too will only speak that which will conduce to harmony and unity, refraining from words that will cause disharmony.
ပြီးတော့ဒုတိယအင်္ဂါဓမ္မဆိုတာစံဖတ်ပလာပပေါ့လေအနေအိဗယ်ကင့်မဲ့တဲ့စကားအဖြစ်ပေါ့အဲ့ဒီစကားအဖြစ်ကိုမဆိုဘဲနဲ့ရှောင်ရှားပြီးတော့ပေါ့လေအဖြစ်အပျက်အကြောင်းအရာမှန်ပြီးတော့သဘာဝမှန်ကိုပြောဆိုခြင်းဟာဓမ္မတရားသောစကားဖြစ်ပါတယ်
အကျိုးရှိဟုတ်ပါရဲ့ဓမ္မဆိုတာ
စံပတ်ပလာပါလိအနေတိပဲကင်းမဲ့တဲ့စကားအဖြစ်ကိုမဆိုဘဲနဲ့ရှောင်ရှားပြီးတော့အဖြစ်ပြက်အကြောင်းအရာမှန်သဘာဝအမှန်ကိုပြောဆိုခြင်းဟာဓမ္မပါဆို
The second criterion of Dhammic speech refers to refraining from indulging in useless chatter, in frivolous speech, but refraining from that and speaking only that which is useful, which is truthful, and which is in accordance with the law of nature.
ဖြစ်ပြအကြောင်းအရာမှန်တဲ့သဘာဝအမှန်အဲ့ဒါပါရလား
ပါပဲ
ဖြစ်ရလဲမှန်တယ်ပြီးတော့သဘာဝအဲ့ဒါပြောဆိုတာဒါဓမ္မခေါ်တယ်
In other words, Dhammic speech refers to that speech which to words which talk about true events, about the truth, things that occur in accordance with fact.
ပြီးတော့တတိယအင်္ဂါရပိယချစ်ဖွယ်စကားဆိုတာပရုသဝါကျပေါ့လေပရုသဝါကျဆိုတာဆေးရည်တဲ့စကားမောင်းမဲတဲ့စကားကျိန်ဆဲတဲ့စကားပေါ့လေအဲ့ဒါတွေပါပဲစကားချမ်းနေပါပဲအဲ့လိုကျမ်းတဲ့စကားကိုမဆိုဘဲနဲ့တာယာပြေပြပြောလေနှစ်လိုပဲပြောဆိုတဲ့စကားမျိုးမှာဒါပိယချစ်ဖွယ်စကားလို့ဆိုပါတယ်
The third criterion of pleasant speech refers to the abstention from harsh language or words that are likely to hurt another person, crude language, and the use of words which are pleasant and lovable.
ဟုတ်လားအဲနောက်ဆုံးစัจကြအမှန်စကားဆိုတာကမုသဝါဒပေါ့လေလင်ပြောတဲ့စကားကိုမဆိုဘဲနဲ့ပြောစရာရှိလို့ရှိအမှန်တိုင်းပေါ့လေပြောတဲ့စကားဟာသစ္စာစကားပါပဲ
Finally, the fourth criterion is quite obvious. Truthful speech refers to words that are truthful, which are free from falsehood.
ကျမ်းဂန်အရှိတိုင်းကျင့်သုံးရင်ကျင့်သုံးသလောက်ကျင့်သုံးတဲ့ပုဂ္ဂိုလ်တွေမှာအကျိုးကျေးဇူးအမှန်ရှိနိုင်တဲ့အင်္ဂါရ၄ပါးနဲ့ပြည့်စုံတဲ့စကားပြောဆိုတတ်ဖို့သိအရေးကြီးပါတယ်
It is important for us to be able to live to that standard of speaking only good words, good speech, quite in accordance with what is written in the text.
ဘုန်းကြီးတို့ဗမာပြည်ကမလာခင်တည်းကလွန်ခဲ့တဲ့နှစ်ကျော်တည်းကဒီ IMS တရားလာပြဖို့ရာဒီက alarm နဲ့ဆက်သွယ်ပြီးတော့အစီအစဉ်တွေလုပ်ပါတယ်။မှာတော့ဘုန်းကြီးများအနေနဲ့ကအမျိုးမျိုးညှစ်ဆံပါတယ်။ဒါပေမဲ့လို့အကြောင်းအလျော်စွာနောက်ပိုင်းမှာမညှစ်ဆံတိုက်တာနဲ့ဖို့လို့ဂတိပြုပြီးတော့ဒီမှာလာရောက်ပြီးတော့ဓမ္မကိုကြီးပြတဲ့အနေနဲ့ပေါ့လေသတိပဋ္ဌာန်ဒေသနာနဲ့အကိုက်ကြီးစွာဆရာတော်ဖြတ်ရေးဩဝါဒအရယောဂီများတရားဆန္ဒပြည့်ဝအောင်ဆိုပြီးတော့အကူအညီပေးနေပါတယ်
About 2 years ago, Sayadaw was still in Burma. He was urged and invited to come to IMS to help in spreading the Dhamma. At that time, due to various reasons, he refused. But through repeated invitation, the Sayadaw finally relented. And at that time, it was the conditions were such that it seemed appropriate to accept the invitation. And so he has come with the aim of helping people here who have invited him to come, to help to proclaim the virtues of the Dhamma in accordance with the orthodox teachings of the Buddha and in the tradition of the late Venerable Mahasi Sayadaw.
ဒါတော့ဓမ္မဂုဏ်ကြီးပြအနေနဲ့ဒီလာရောက်ပြီးတော့တရားပြရမှာဒီကယောဂီတွေတရားဟောခြင်းတရားပြခြင်းဆွေးနွေးခြင်းအစသည်ပေါ့လေဒီအရင်ပြုလုပ်ပေးတာခုနအင်္ဂါလေးရနဲ့ပြည့်စုံတဲ့စုပါစိတဖြစ်မဖြစ်ဆိုတာပြိတ္တအသိပါပဲ
Having arrived at IMS and having tried his best to execute his responsibilities of giving instructions and guidance to yogis and in giving daily Dhamma talks. It is now perhaps up to the audience here to decide whether the talk or the words uttered by the Sayadaw belong to this category of good speech.
ဓမ္မရေးနဲ့ပတ်သက်ပြီးတော့ပါဒီစကားအရဆိုလို့ရှိရင်ဓမ္မရေးတာမကလောကကြီးမှာလည်းပဲအများအကျိုးရှိအောင်နီးညွှန်နိုင်တဲ့အပျော်ကောင်းအဆူကောင်းပုဂ္ဂိုလ်များရဲ့ဟောပြောချက်ကိုလည်းပဲစုပါစီတာတဲ့မှာထည့်သွင်းနိုင်ပါတယ်
This, of course, has a direct relevance to the Dhamma. What the Sayadaw has been doing here, of course, is a direct is directly concerned with the Dhamma. However, by Subhasita, a good speech, this does not only mean Dhamma talks. Subhasita, a good speech, can refer to a vast range of speech, even speech that is related to the world.
Thì bây giờ thì là em nhảy ra xí vào đây. Rồi cái lô Dhamma của ý bia đấy này nè, ý là yogi mía của tia hoa bia, còn mà thằng tia thì bia này là, còn là Subhasita sora, Dubhasita mà hậu phu, anh nào vậy chứ, biết kinh này sẽ cái là biết đấy, biết kinh này rồi thì là bây Subhasita lulu biết đó là vậy, bây giờ lulu sora, mimi yo tu ba ba. Thế xin sẽ cả làm hóa lại về chỗ chỉ dụ phiêu này nè, phiêu xì này nè. Bây giờ cô lúc xây thà thì yên chế bây giờ nếu chúng ta mới thua giá toa thì bè lý ba cái sao vậy? Bè lý ba cái lúc nhau toa này nè. Ta cho đi ra ha biết cái nào hồi lúc Subhasita biết đấy sao ra vậy? Nhớ sao phải mấy mà chứ, ấy à, em nói xem mà.
Sao mà bảo vậy? Sao mà bảo vậy?
Dia bia ni de aloha. Subhasita và Dubhasita mà hộp vào, bảo chứ là sao đó mà, bà mà nhiều lên chơi mà thay bên này, nhà cái đó là mua cái gì đó bà bên này mà, sau này là biết kinh à sao đó.
In trying to promote the virtues of the Dhamma here, through guiding and instructing yogis in their meditation, as well as giving this daily Dhamma talk, one can see that the speech to be found in such activities is not bad speech. It is speech that is faultless in the sense that it is freed from the faults of the kilesas. The motivation behind giving this Dhamma aid is so that yogis here, so that others may benefit from the Dhamma, make progress in their meditation, and indeed have the opportunity also to attain the noble path and fruition, to become a Sotapanna, a stream entrant, whereby one can be freed throughout the remainder of our samsaric existence from many types of sufferings. And because this motivation is not in any way connected with kilesas, it is very obvious that such speech is faultless.
Yeah, beginner solution again, Yamyadara. Sisi that the Pinyashi, Dragoni, Kay Kaya Zagamula, Chimune Zagamula, Sara, Sisi Boba. The case account along on it, Atonijare, Yogi, Shivare. The Tanane Patete, Kuni Api Nida Pukuri Shivare. Tariha the gay kudu lujelo Sikon Longone La Yavido Say up from your demani, do ye kisama, Kuni Abe Nijara.
whether such speech is good or bad can be judged by the wise, by those who have wisdom, who are unbiased and objective in their inquiry, in the investigation. There are people who come to this center to participate as yogis, being very ardent and sincere, very committed to the Dhamma, wanting very sincerely to realize the Dhamma, to see the truth for themselves. Yet there are others who come to this center to help create a supportive environment so that all may be able to make progress in their meditation. It is assumed that such people come here out of a very good heart, to come to help and give assistance in a noble cause, coming perhaps with the noble motivation of wanting to perform wholesome deeds, of wanting to build up their paramis.
အဲ့တော့စစ်စစ်လိုက်လို့ရှိရင်ခုနစုပါစိတလည်းပဲဖြစ်တယ်ဆိုတာအမှန်ရှင်းပါတယ်ဓမ္မတရားသောစကားဆိုတာလည်းပဲအမှန်ရှင်းပါတယ်ပိယချစ်ဖွယ်စကားပြောတာကတော့ကြမ်းပြီမယ်လို့စေရနာကမကြမ်းဘူးဆိုလို့ရှိရင်ချစ်ဖွယ်စကားလို့ဆိုပါတယ်တချို့သူများနားဝယ်အောင်ပေါ့လေစကားတန်စာဆင်ပြီးတော့ပြောပြီမယ်လို့စေရနာကမဟာမှုဆိုလို့ရှိရင်အဲ့ဒီစကားဟာစုဝစိတတဲ့မထည့်ပါဘူးစကားကပြည့်မပြောတတ်ပေမဲ့လို့အနေအဓိပ္ပာယ်ရှိတယ်အကျိုးရှိတယ်ဆိုလို့ရှိရင်တော့စုဝစိတတဲ့ပါပါတယ်ဓမ္မတဲ့လည်းပဲပါပါတယ်ပြီးတော့သစ္စာတဲ့လည်းပဲအလိုလိုပါသွားတာပါပဲဒါတွေ
Again, that such speech is Dhammic speech is also quite clear. That it is the truth is beyond doubt. No, fine, and whether it is pleasant speech or not can only be judged if one understands the intention, the volition, the spirit behind the speech. Words may appear to be coarse and distasteful from the outside. Perhaps it may be due to the inability of the person to be able to present or express what he wants to say in an agreeable way. But what is more important is the spirit, is the heart that matters. It is the intention. If one is motivated by good intentions, even though one's speech may appear to be coarse, may appear to be unrefined, such a speech is still included in the category of good and wholesome speech. On the other hand, if a person is a great orator and is able to speak in a very refined and tactful way. Can be a very suave person, can speak in a way that is able to please others. But if his motivations and intentions are evil, are not wholesome, are self-centered, then his words cannot be included in this category of good speech. It may appear pleasant on a superficial level, but at a more profound level, it is not really pleasant speech.
အဲ့ဒီအင်္ဂါလေးရနဲ့ပြည့်စုံပြီဆိုရင်ဘုန်းကြီးကတော့အများကြိုက်ကြိုက်မကြိုက်ကြိုက်ဟောတဲ့အလီရှိခဲ့ပါတယ်
If these four factors, these four criteria of good speech, wholesome speech, are fulfilled, the Sayadaw has a practice of uttering such words, of speaking such words, no matter whether people are receptive to it or not, whether people like it, like the words that he speaks or not.
အကြိုက်တက်တက်ကိုတော့ကြည့်ပြီးတော့မဟောလို့ပါဘူးမဟောလဲမဟောတတ်ပါဘူးမဟောလဲမဟောခဲ့ပါဘူးတစ်တော်ပြီးတော့အကျိုးရှိတဲ့ဟာကိုပဲရွေးချယ်ပြီးတော့ဟောလဲဟောခဲ့ပါတယ်အခုလည်းပဲဒီတိုင်းပါပဲတစ်တော်အကျိုးရှိတဲ့ဟာပဲရွေးချယ်ပြီးတော့ဟောနေတာပါပဲ
Sayadaw is unable to utter words which are merely pleasant on the superficial level. He is unable to pander, so to speak, to the whims and fancies of the public. He is not given to such speech, and he has never done it before. On the contrary, if the words that he is thinking of speaking are appropriate and useful, beneficial, then he will speak it. He will speak those words, even if they are not liked by other people.
ဒါတော့တစ်တော်ကျိုးရှိပြစ်ကင်းတဲ့စကားကိုပြောလို့ရှိရင်ညွှန်ကြားလို့ရှိရင်တကယ်လူကောင်းသူကောင်းပညာရှိတွေအကဲ့ရဲ့လွတ်တယ်ဆိုတာပေါ့လေအဲ့ဒါလောက်အမြတ်ရလို့ရှိရင်ဘုန်းကြီးကျင့်တတ်ပြီဒါလူရင်းပါပဲ
Having spoken such words which are appropriate and beneficial, and knowing that they are free from faults, free from the faults of the kilesas, Sayadaw is very satisfied with himself. These are words which are free from blame by the wise, by the truly wise, those who have real wisdom, who are able to exercise discretion and non-prejudice and objectivity in their investigation.
ဘုန်းကြီးအနေနဲ့ကဓမ္မအထူးယောဂီနဲ့တချို့ကြည်ဥဆာဆာအထုတ်တဲ့ယောဂီပူယောဂီတွေလည်းပါတာပေါ့လေအဲ့ဒီပုဂ္ဂိုလ်တွေရဲ့ အမှန်တရားသူတို့အကျိုးရှိရေးအတွက်ကိုပဲရှိရှုရပါတယ်အဲ့တော့သူတို့အမှန်လမ်းကြောင်းတက်ပြီးတော့အကျိုးကျေးဇူးရှိဖို့အဓိကထားပြီးတော့ဆောင်ရွက်နေရတယ်ဆိုတာလည်းပဲနားလည်ဖို့ပါပဲ
Sayadaw's talks, in fact, are oriented for the benefit of those special yogis, or those yogis who are meditating under his direct guidance and instructions, as well as for those other yogis here who are self-retreatants or otherwise, who are very sincere and ardent in their meditation. In fact, the talks are meant to further deepen their practice and to give them and to bring about the benefits for such yogis. This is something which ought to be understood.
အဲ့ဒီလိုကြိုင်တွေ့ရမှာတစ်ခါလည်းပဲအကျိုးလေးတွေပြပြီးတော့ညီညီသာသာနဲ့ကြိုင်တွေ့ရတာမျိုးလည်းရှိတယ်
In the delivery of such talks, at times the Sayadaw will present it in such a way that the benefits of the discourse can be shown in a very refined way.
တစ်ခါလည်းပဲယောဂီရဲ့ကျွင်းချက်ကလေးတွေပေါ်ပြပြီးတော့ခက်တင်းတင်းလေးပေါ့လေတင်းတင်းမာမာလေးဒီလိုကြိုင်တွေ့ရတာမျိုးလည်းရှိပါတယ်
At other times, Sayadaw will base his speech on certain faults or shortcomings of a particular yogi or yogis, and the speech may appear to be rather harsh and appear to have an admonishable quality in it.
တချို့ယောဂီတွေဆိုလို့ရှိရင်ငုံနေတော့ပေါ်သွားအောင်လုပ်ရတာပေါ့လေဥပမာဖြင့်ယောဂပြောင်းလို့ဆေးပေးရမှာဆေးကမထိတော့ယောဂကြွစည်းတွေတိုက်ပြီးတော့ပေါ့လေအဲ့တော့မှတခါဆေးတွေတိုက်ရတဲ့နီးမျိုးလေးလည်းပဲလုပ်ရတာလည်းရှိပါတယ် ယောဂငုံနေလို့ယောဂကြွစည်းတွေပထမတိုက်ရသေးတယ်ယောဂကြွအောင်လုပ်ရသေးတယ်ယောဂတွေကြွလာတဲ့ခါကျမှတင့်တော်သလိုစီးပေးသလိုပေါ့လေတချို့ယောဂီတွေဆိုလို့ရှိရင်နည်းနည်းငုံနေတဲ့သဘောလေးတွေပေါ်သွားအောင်ဆိုပြီးတော့လှုပ်ပြီးမှအစိတ်ကလေးကြွလာပြီးမှရောက်လောက်ပြီးမှတခါတရားပြရတယ်ဆိုတော့
There's a little mistranslation again. Must apologize. Yeah. Anyway, in the previous part, the Sayadaw talked about how at times he would speak in such a way as to appear very strict rather than harsh. Strict, as he was trying to point out the faults or shortcomings of a particular yogi or of yogis. At other times, Sayadaw may speak in such a way that may be analogous to giving medicine to a patient that will help to sort of make the illness more predominant. so that he can be more easily treated.
Any yogi through Diwali, Poji look like this.
Those yogis concerned will understand.
The church yogi Miale we hold a neo, Nene Katni, Katinili, hold a neo, Nina Lilu. I don't view it as
Some yogis, however, need to be praised in their practice, and others need to be put down. And both of these methods are utilized at their appropriate time.
The Karaga Yogi, Majabi Melu, Yogi, Sanyi Miro, Oya, Jushio, Tinto, the lower at 11 Yaishiba. The Abiade Kamayo, the Yahore Kamayo, the Daima.
At other times, Sayadaw may act in such a way as to be provocative to the yogi. It may be something that the yogi does not like, but he acts it anyway. And this holds true in the interviews as well as during Dhamma talks. He may deliberately stress a point or say some things which he knows that the yogi does not agree with.
Abimelo, Pony Maro, Yogi Boma, Mita Gruna, a bit sheeted for our musician.
Sayadaw would like all of you to believe that he has total metta and karuna on all yogis concerned.
Dizagaya solution, Ponyha, a Miajaku, Malofu, Joshi Viro, Tindora, Lote, Sora, Vita Nale Tobavi.
By now, it would have become clear to all of you that the Sayadaw is not one to say things to please others, merely for the sake of pleasing, but on the contrary, is only interested in saying those things which are appropriate and useful.
Miajai Suragaro, Payaro, Miajai Miyababu.
Even the Buddha, even the words of the Buddha are not 100% popular.
The Anapana, Udu Jongli Nene Tokchena. The chamber, Dula Sujeta Gadua, yes of Yatamo Yodavare.
In connection with this, Sayadaw would like to relate an account. One day, a man by the name of Atula approached the Buddha.
Pagisa Yola, the Lelu, Yasofia, Mideka, Tea Nabu, Lare Joe. Tigam Yasofia, Tea Nagaya Balalu. Miro Mubare Nagebala, Diana Lare, Diao Nagayabala,
and the Buddha asked him, "Why are you here?" And he said, "To listen to the Dhamma." And so the Buddha asked him, "Have you listened to the Dhamma?"
You know, Dula Gaga, Mama Pia, the video, she you already, Dora, she you already, the Gama Bio, the Yama Bude. Say so be the car. She Daribo Drazi Dova,
Yes, he said, I've heard the Dhamma before, or I've tried to listen to the Dhamma before. In fact, I went to see the Venerable Revata, and he refused to say anything. Then I went to see the Venerable Sariputta.
Sariputta Yauda, Sariputta, Nyanjiro, Emina Lina de Abidama Diari, Holida, Ajajibe. Dane say so be the car, ta, Lagavia.
In fact, he was angry with the Venerable Revata for not speaking to him. And so he left in a rage and went to see the Venerable Sariputta. As you know, the Venerable Sariputta is the wisest disciple of the Buddha, and he started to give a discourse on the Abhidhamma, very profound and lengthy discourse. And this man was very angry. He was not at all happy that the Venerable Sariputta was so long-winded. So he got up in a rage and left to find another monk.
She Anandazi Dwabia, she Anandagaro, she would have a hollow, say so. She not even a Guru Yajia or Dia, she hollow, say so, so that a tight down a holiday. Tight down a Hoviano level didiga, say so behind you. They are the love Kakatata Bolitima, Chichi Choke, tight down a Hoyamalas, a Lumija, she will tap yam.
So he arrived this time at the Venerable Ananda's place, and he told the Venerable Ananda what had happened. So Venerable Ananda, knowing that this person was angry because Venerable Revata had not said anything, and that Venerable Sariputta had given him a long discourse, started to give him a medium-length discourse. And this guy was very angry, and he said, "How can you, treat the Dhamma so lightly? This is a very profound Dhamma. How come you just saying so few words?" And he got up in a rage and left. Well, perhaps he was accusing the Venerable Ananda of being very miserly with the Dhamma. Well, that's not quite true, but that was the way he thought.
And now so Piazzi out there, Payao, Eddie Johnny, Shopyaro. Hangapia level, Dilo, a bit in Yara. Dilo, Majai, a bit in as a Gavata Maraji. Through Chaita, Majaita, William Hofu, Jewish Viro, Tendo, she needs Viro, Hoyara, the Gay, Shimusura, McGinnis, Yava, she hovered. Did me order check the Shiva did.
So he came to the Buddha this time and related the incidents to the Buddha. At once the Buddha said, "Well, if I say anything, this guy is going to criticize me." And he said that, well, it's not really important whether people praise you or criticize you, as long as one is able to say things that are appropriate and useful. No one is free from blame.
Jangan so major a Jawya did who the year. Eddie Jawya, a charm of Babu. We follow Boko Mawali. ပြောစရာရှိလို့ရှိရင်ပြောရတော့မှာပဲအဲ့လိုပြောတဲ့အခါမှာရှာမှာဓာတ်တတ်ထားလို့ရှိရင်ကိုယ်မှလည်းပဲကုသိုလ်မဖြစ်ကုသိုလ်တွေကိုလည်းပဲဖြတ်တော့ပြရရောက်ပြီးတော့သူများလည်းမသက်တာဘူးတဲ့အဲ့လိုရှာမှာဓာတ်တတ်ထားတဲ့အဖြစ်မျိုးကိုတော့ရှောင်ရမယ်ဆိုတဲ့အချက်ကလေးဘုန်းကြီးအများနဲ့သတိရပါတယ်ဒါ
ရှာမှာပါတတ်
တယ်ဒါ
မွေးပွားစားတဲ့ကလေး
မို့လို့ဖြစ်ပေါ်လာတဲ့ပုဂ္ဂိုလ်တွေမှန်တယ်မြတ်
နားမလီတော့
စကားပြောတရားဟောတဲ့အခါမှာရှာမှာဓာတ်ရှိတဲ့ပုဂ္ဂိုလ်တဲ့ဓာတ်ရှိတဲ့ပုဂ္ဂိုလ်ဟာဓာတ်ရှိတဲ့ပုဂ္ဂိုလ်ဆိုတာအခြားမဟုတ်ပါဘူးဒေါသကြီးတာကြမ်းတမ်းတာပြီးတော့တိမခံနိုင်တာပေါ့လေနော်တိမခံနိုင်တော့ဒေါသအလျောက်ပြောရောပေါ့လေမမာနာတွေလည်းပါကုန်တာပဲအဲ့ဒီပုဂ္ဂိုလ်ရှာမှာဓာတ်ရှိတဲ့ပုဂ္ဂိုလ်လို့ခေါ်တယ်အဲ့ဒီရှာမှာဓာတ်ရှိတာရှောင်ရမယ်တဲ့ရှာမှာဓာတ်တတ်မထားရဘူးပေါ့လေဒီကမနှိမ့်မြို့တဲ့စကားမကြိုက်တဲ့စကားပေါ့လေဒါမျိုးတွေပေါ့အကျိုးမရှိတဲ့စကားမပြောရဘူးဒါဆိုလို့လားပေါ့
Sayadaw recalls something that he had read somewhere, and it says that people should not talk with daggers in their mouth, with daggers stuck to their tongues. This, of course, means that one should avoid such speech as may be harmful and harsh and without benefit. One should also refrain from speech that comes about through anger and motivated by the various kilesas.
တုပ္ပတိကစကားပြောတဲ့ပုဂ္ဂိုလ်ဒါရှာမှာဓာတ်တတ်ထားတဲ့ပုဂ္ဂိုလ်လို့ခေါ်တာပေါ့ဒါဒီပြောနေတော့ကုသိုလ်တရားတွေဖြတ်တော့ပြရရောက်တယ်သူများလည်းပဲအကျိုးမဲ့ဖြစ်အောင်လုပ်ရရောက်တယ်ဒါဆိုလိုတာပါပဲ
What is meant is that a person who speaks with daggers stuck to his tongue actually can be categorized under one who speaks bad speech, speech that is unwholesome, that will not conduce to the benefit of other people.
အဲ့ဒါလို့ရှာကြမ်းလို့ရှာမှာဓာတ်တတ်ထားလို့ဖြစ်လို့တက်ရှင်စေကာလမှာလည်းပဲနှုတ်ကြောက်ဒုက္ခရောက်တာတွေအများကြီးရှိတာပဲပြီးတော့ဘဝတစ်လျှောက်မှာလည်းပဲဆင်းရဲဒုက္ခတွေအများကြီးရောက်တာပဲဒါကြောင့်တုပ္ပစိတစကားမျိုးပြောတဲ့ပုဂ္ဂိုလ်ဟာရှာမှာဓာတ်တတ်ထားတာဖြစ်တော့အဲ့ဒီဓာတ်ကသူ့ကိုခုတ်တော်တာပဲတန်တရားလျှောက်လုံးဆင်းရဲဒုက္ခတွေရောက်တယ်လို့ဒါပြောလို့တာပါ
A person who speaks with daggers stuck to his tongue is actually causing a lot of harm to himself, either in this present existence or in the future existence throughout samsara.
ဒီတော့ပြောစရာရှိလို့ရှိရင်လည်းပဲဖြည်းဖြည်းသာသာအကျိုးရှိတဲ့ညင်သာသာပေါ့လေချစ်ဖွယ်ရစကားတွေပြောရပါတယ်အဲ့လိုပြောလို့ရှိရင်ရှာမှာတာအမှုံမွှားတွေကိုဆွဲယူနိုင်တဲ့ magnet ပေါ့လေအားကောင်းတဲ့တန်လိုက်တတ်ပေါ့လေတန်လိုက်တတ်ရှိဖို့အရေးကြီးပါတယ်
And therefore, when one has anything to say, one should try to speak in words that are pleasant and refined, motivated by good intentions. Only then will the tongue be free from daggers and instead be like a magnet.
Tiana Patavido, Pungi Udu Jolly the Cook. Miedria Vido, Miera Leve, and look to him at it. Paya long be in the bar, pay being her. Mimi and Meroga. Even only dollar cheated. Gently Janan, young Gongan say, Wally. You looked at Mew, you were Paya long so much. Mayao, ni Mew Leve, so much about Meow. And also being we interested a car. Kayi Ija, my body. Did you call it a conga? Me don't know. Eating here, Tanga, I'm not Naja cut it. Not a sewer. Lunch of Guada Boguriha, na pay tayala on body, I'm not Jananago, the sewer and a base or one. A collier of lava, a tangado. I'm not sewer. Now we in a yellow Bambini, Tippini, who did live with a cheated car. Oh, me than Jaro, Emily, Oli at that Chulaita. Didali, Jayara, say Chana later, Wally. Oh, Heckley, Miaga, when me to cheat you. Cheto Yavi, Migan or so much out of his or Wally. Along of being up, Madavi or Mero Viore, Mero Miame. Lama did you ring a car, Atanga Suwa, Ludi Nabita, Jayala. Clear love value, Atanga Sura, Miaga, Chimuja wood. Ongeha men doing so value, do Ataniga, Taya to eat it. Teacher Cleo, you will Miane says some just with a camuma. Doda Maji, Machanda Mene, Chuju Tada Nebody, says some counties. Edlu Suma like the Camamero level, Shang Jimmy, Contour, so Eddie would do only for you at the Obo Nali Taro. Miera, the Gabriel Kama web ship, the Agua Kama web ship, the Abia Kama web ship, that name so body. Tincho Vido, let me don't charlie Shibare.
Oh,
Kaku.
Sayadaw again recalls a story of the Bodhisattva when he was king during one of his lives. The Bodhisattva had a mother who was notorious for her loud mouth. She was a very not only loud mouth, but she was given to cursing people, to speaking in a very harsh and crude way that causes a lot of people to be hurt, causes others to be hurt. She would scold and nag and curse and say a lot of bad things. She would speak in a very unskillful and crude way. Although the Bodhisattva tried very hard, time and again, to try to correct his mother, his efforts were always in vain. One day, the Bodhisattva, the king, and his entourage, including his mother, were traveling through a park. And in the park, and on the way, they came across a blue jay. It seems that the blue jay has a very, very coarse cry. The sound of a blue jay was something that people disliked a great deal. It was so bad and so coarse that when people had to pass through a blue jay making that noise, at times they would have to muffle their ears And so the entourage were all making comments, were all criticizing this blue jay. How terrible its voice is, how terrible its cry is, the sound of a blue jay. And everyone agreed that it was such a terrible and unpleasant sound. Then they went further on through the park, and they came across a cuckoo. Although the cuckoo was not as beautiful as the blue jay, not as large or beautiful, it was small and indeed not at all attractive. But its voice was very sweet, and everybody marveled at the sweetness of that cuckoo bird. So the Bodhisattva got an idea, and when he went back home, he confronted his mother and asked his mother whether she noticed what was happening when they were passing through the park. Whether she noticed how the people, how everybody criticized the coarse sound of the blue jay, and how they praised and marveled at the sweetness of the cuckoo's voice. And the mother, of course, said yes, she was present and she noticed what was happening. And so the Bodhisattva took this occasion to admonish her mother and to tell her that, well, you see, no matter how beautiful the bird may be, if its voice or sound is unpleasant and coarse, it will be criticized by many people, will be disliked by many people. But the cuckoo, even though it's small and not as beautiful, but because of the sweetness of its voice, people like it. People marvel at it and sing praises. And it seems that the mother learned a good lesson from this, and she was very restrained in future with regard to how and what she said. This story also made a very deep impression on the Sayadaw, and he says that he tries his very best to make use of this moral and the story and to put it into practice in his daily communication with people, especially during interviews and Dhamma talks.
ချိန်ကြတော့ချိန်နဲ့တော့လွန်သွားပါပြီအဲ့တော့ဒီနေ့စုပစိတဝါကြဆိုတာအင်္ဂါလေးရနဲ့ပြည့်စုံတဲ့စကားပဲဆိုတဲ့အကြောင်းဒီနေ့ဖြည့်ရှင်းပြပေးပါပြီအဲ့ဒီတိုင်းပဲပြိဿတတ်နိုင်တယ်ကျင့်သုံးနိုင်ကြလို့နောက်ဆုံးယုံနာတစ်ပါးရဲ့ချုပ်ညာဖြစ်တဲ့နိဗ္ဗာန်ကိုယ်တိုင်ဆက်ရောက်မျက်မှောက်ပြုနိုင်ကြပါစေလို့ဆုတောင်းရဒီနေ့တရားသိလိုက်ပါတယ်
We've gone a little beyond an hour, and Sayadaw would like to end today's talk by hoping that all of you would be able to practice speaking good speech, and also make progress in your meditation so that eventually you will be able to realize Nibbana.